Okay, so I have to tell you something that happened to me recently that I think more of you are going to relate than you want to admit. So I went out and bought some new outfits for pickleball and beach tennis. Nothing crazy. And in the middle of it, I just kind of stopped and got really honest with myself for a second. I went, wait a minute, is this me or is this Bo? And I know that sounds like a weird question because I am Bo, right? But stay with me for a second because this is actually kind of the whole thing I'm trying to get to. See, the ego is really sneaky. And I don't mean it's sneaky in like a dramatic, freaky way. I mean it's sneaky in a way that it kind of wraps itself completely around normal, everyday things and make them about something like different than what they appear to be. A nice car, a really beautifully curated home, the right wardrobe that looks just perfect. And none of those are bad. But there's zero shame in having nice things. That's not what I'm trying to say. There's a really subtle line between life flowing to you and quietly building an identity around what your life looks like from the outside. And so the question I think that is worth asking, not judgmentally, just honestly, is this: who is actually doing the wanting in this situation? So here's something that when I thought about it blew my mind when I sat with it. The moment you give something a name, you freeze it into an identity. Bo likes nice things. Bo has a certain aesthetic. Bo is the guy who shows up to pickleball like he just stepped out of a magazine. And suddenly, without even realizing it, Bo's not a person anymore. Bo is a brand, an identity. And now instead of just living our life, we're managing that brand, protecting it, curating it, making sure it stays consistent. And that is exhausting. It is also, if we're being really honest, a little bit of a prison because the identity needs to be maintained. And anything that threatens it feels like a threat to you, even though it's not you. It's just collection of labels you started believing were you. So here's the part I really want you to hear, because I think this is where people get confused on the spiritual path. Spirit is not asking us to get rid of the nice things to prove that we're enlightened. That's just the ego doing spirituality, which is its own whole thing. But the difference between spirit bringing something into our life and the ego bringing something into our life is not what the thing is, it's the feeling underneath it. When something comes in through spirit, it feels like ease, like it just showed up, like you aren't white knuckling it into existence or grasping for it or needing it to make you feel enough. But when the ego brings something in, there's this like subtle anxiety underneath, maybe some shame, a quiet need to be seen having it, a sense that without it, something about you would be lost. You can buy the exact same outfit from either place, but only one of them leaves you feeling actually free afterward. So here's the practice I want to offer you, and it's pretty simple, maybe a little embarrassingly simple. Just stop and ask yourself honestly, and not harshly with a bunch of guilt attached, but just real curiosity. Is this coming from joy or is this coming from an image? Anything in your life? Am I getting this because it genuinely lights you up or because of how it makes me look or feel or seen or finally enough? And you don't have to get it right every time. You don't have to be perfect at this, but just to be willing to ask the question. And that willingness, that little moment of radical honesty is where I think everything starts to really shift, where we can live lighter. So, did I keep the outfits? Yeah, obviously. But now I know which version of me bought them. Right? And that is the tiny bit of honesty, that little bit of pause in the middle of completely ordinary shopping trip or anything. That is this whole journey that we're really on. It's what it's all about. Not getting rid of things or sacrificing, but just getting honest about who is running the show. And that's what it is to lighten up. It's all just a game anyway, and you get to play it a lot more freely when you're aware of who's playing. This is how we lighten up. We become more aware so that we can release and unattach from what was never us.